I'm Carl Fechner, co-author of the Growing Deep and Strong series and a life coach. And this video is about why we wrote Growing Deep and Strong. So, and this is a continuation from what the previous video. Well, we did a lot of external courses and run by what's termed as parachurch organisations, and unfortunately in some circles, parachurch organisations are met with contempt, maybe derision, and I don't know why, because some of those courses are absolutely excellent and really they're providing a service that is not available in the local church. The local church in general, I found, was not providing the answers or the healing or the discipleship that new Christians needed. So we did extensive, heaps of them. We did one for marriage, and as I said earlier, our marriage this was our second marriage. It was our second marriage for both of us. So we came into our second marriage with a lot of baggage, and even as Christians, we were on the road to destruction. And by the grace of God, we found a very good marriage course, but we had to go outside the church system to find it. We found another course that dealt with generational curses, curse to blessing. So it was dealing with the curses and the other baggage that we bring into our Christian walk. We also did deliverance. We did deliverance ministries and went through a lot of that. We dealt with emotional healing and found a lot of good stuff with emotional healing, and also counselling. Did a lot of counselling, individual counselling and group counselling, etc. A lot of it very good, some of it weird, and some of it weird particularly in the area of deliverance. This was a real concern, and it's unfortunate that in general the term deliverance and the deliverance ministry has been given or has got a bad name by some very improper practices in this whole arena. Also, some of the material that we encountered was very worldly and with a bit of God tacked on as an afterthought, and that I find that quite repulsive. If you're going to go down that path, well, just go and get it outside of God's kingdom. To me, it's all about God being at the centre part. Like, let's face it, Jesus came to be the healer. Jesus is the healer. Jesus is the answer to life, and I had really firmly entrenched that in my life. So also in our search we found a very good 20 weeks course that came out of America and was birthed in a church in America. And it impacted us so much that we decided to bring it out to Australia and implement it into the local church. And this, as I said, was a 20-week discipleship path with a ministry weekend or deliverance weekend at the end of it. And we implemented from memory into some 150 to 200 churches in Australia and New Zealand, and there was some 3,000 to 4,000 people went through the course in the time that we were managing this and facilitating this in the country. But what I found with this, and as I was discovering, even though it was changing lives, is that we were catching the Christian at whatever level of maturity they were at. So if they were a brand new Christian, they were coming and they would have had a bit of a struggle because there were some assumptions again of their understanding of the Word of God. And also other Christians were at different levels as well. The other thing is with it, what I found is that it had no real good reconnection back in the local church. And so the people would go away for an encounter weekend or a ministry weekend or a retreat weekend, as it was called, and they were impacted. Man, they were just touched. We saw major miracles, major deliverance happening in a very safe, orderly manner. And these people, when they went back into their local church, in general, found it hard to reconnect, and they'd formed small groups or bonds of friendship that when they went back in the local church, that was just fragmented off and just not held in regard. And so there was no small group building, that's what I'm really trying to say, as the end result. And we weren't responsible for that. We were termed as a parachurch organisation, so we had no input. We had input for the people in the time they walked through the course and for the weekend, but when they came to that to go back in the local church, we were no longer responsible for what their actions or what they did or what follow-on courses they may do. So the other thing is I found with it, there was no evangelism with it. There was no ongoing discipleship with it. So in my mind, I was starting to process it and think, God, you know, this really needs something before it and something after it. And could see that it wasn't the complete package, but it was certainly the best I'd ever seen as a very sound package, and it's still operating today and still going very well. But in my own world, I thought there's got to be more to this. There's got to be more of a complete package for someone like us, like me, that was totally unchurched, had no church upbringing, and I became a believer of Jesus, and I've got to go on some path of discovery of learning who my new king or ruler is. So it's interesting, in the course of all of this, I met my co-author, and not only did I meet my co-author, a prophet came into our church and prophesied that God was going to blank out my diary and give me a whole new vision, and it wouldn't be a rewrite of the old one, it'd be a brand new one, and when it was completed, the next generation would be blessed. Oh, that's interesting. Well, that was in August of that particular year. And by the end of the year, we had resigned or stepped down from this particular ministry as the national leaders, did a year of ministry training college, and then we began the journey, David Searle, my co-author, and myself, of writing the Growing Deep and Strong series. And the Growing Deep and Strong series is 4 9-week modules that will take a brand new Christian, or even a pre-Christian, because there's a DVD that you can use as an evangelist tool of how to show them that the spiritual realm comprises of 2 kingdoms, one good, one evil, and how that impacts them or impacts us on earth. And also that we live in one or the other kingdom, and those 2 kingdoms have rulers. And as we know, one's God and the ruler of the other kingdom is Satan. That's a video that we watch as a pre-evangelism one, or a pre to the course. Then we take them on the journey of an intentional discipleship path from being a brand new spiritual baby or a brand new Christian right through to where they are taken through a place of evangelism, or reaching out to their friends, and then discipling their friends at the point where they began their journey. And that's a 12-month process. And so the next video that we've got will give you that in details, how you can take a simple off-the-shelf package that will take a person from a brand new Christian or a brand new believer to a discipling of others and building small groups. What I see as a complete discipleship package for new Christians. And that's the next video.